All right. Good afternoon, students. Good evening, students. Wherever you are in the world, I believe you are doing fine and you are doing great and awesome. Today we have a lesson on how to write a program that is going to, display the result of this particular problem we have here. So it says that given an airplane's acceleration A and takeoff speed V, you can compute the minimum runway length needed for an airplane to take off using the following formula. The model is given as length equals V squared over 2A. So we are to write a program that prompts the user to enter the speed V in meters per second and the acceleration A in meters per second squared and displays the minimum runway length. So at the end of this program, we have a sample run, which means the speed we are going to impute is 60, and of course the acceleration is 3.5. And when you run it, you are going to get the airplane runway length as 514.286 meters. Okay, so let's delve into our Pycharm environment as we go about writing the program, right? But just before we go into the Pycharm, let me just show us how to create a Python file. So over here I have a folder called practice1. Okay, you can create any folder of your choice. So you can just name it Python programming, then in it you can create practice1, okay, so that you can just have good file organization, right? So in here you can see I do not have any file here. Okay, so what you do is you right click on the white space, go to show more options, okay, then you go to you come to new, and then you click on text document. Now once you click on text document, right, you are going to type just airplane underscore, or let's just get airplane run underscore length, okay, just to keep things short. So now I would want to remove that txt, and then you put in .py. Now you put in that .py makes it a Python file, then you hit enter. Okay, it will ask you if you want to change the file extension. You say yes. Immediately you can now see that this logo now has the Pycharm symbol. Okay, now it is very important for you to know what kind of file you are working to, basically. So you see, if you come to view and you come to show, okay, if you uncheck, now mind you I'm working in Windows 11, so if you are working in Windows 10, over here you will just simply go to view, then you see file extension. Okay, now if I uncheck this, can you see that I no longer have let me zoom out so that you can see it much more clearly. Okay, can you see we no longer have the .py here again? So this usually becomes very hard for you to know what kind of file you are working with. So just go to show, and then come down to what, and then say file extension. Of course you can see that the extension is back. All right, okay, so at this point I'm going to double click to open this file. Now this file is now opened in Pycharm. Okay, it's opened in Pycharm, but more importantly we want it in such a way that we want to get our questions. So side by side, I'm going to have this folder or this file. Okay, right. So now I'm going to input a multiple line comment, right? So in this multiple line comment, you can now type in what you actually want to do, right? So we would say that given an airplanes, or just simply say a program to compute the that will compute the runway length, runway runway length, okay, needed for an airplane to take off, right? So variables, you need to identify your variables. So variable A we say is the speed, or rather sorry, variable V is the speed in meters per second. A is the acceleration in meters per second squared. Okay, then of course we would have our length. Our length is so we can just call it length. This is going to be our runway length, for airplane, right? So these are the parameters we'll need. Okay, so our model, model is what we also refer to as the formula, right? So we'll say that length is equals to V. So let's check what the formula says again. What does the formula say? Okay, I guess it's saying V squared, right? So that's going to be V to the power 2. Alright, then of course we want to put this in bracket, 2 multiplied A, right? Okay, so this is what we are seeking to achieve, right? Then sample inputs. Our sample input for A will be 60, okay, and V will be 60, and A, which is the speed acceleration, will be 3.5, right? Good. Now we have this is the question we seek to solve, and this is the problem here. So in case you want to get down this problem, let me make it visible. So what you can just do is, for you to get down this problem, just pause your screen, okay, and write it down. Good. Now let us begin the program. So of course we want to use a single line comment and say prompt the user for input, right? So of course the first input is going to be for the length, or for the speed. Okay, now the speed is going to be user to input speed. Okay, so V now will be equals to what? Eval, which is a function, input, of course. Then we'll now say enter the value of speed, which is of course in V. Okay, right, so that is that about that. So of course you can add a comment here and say prompt for what? For speed. Okay, then of course A will be equals to, of course we are going to use eval again, and we'll now nest another function called the input function. Okay, so here we would say enter the value of what? Acceleration, which is going to be the value A, right? So again here we can say prompt for what? Prompt user for acceleration. Okay, prompt user for acceleration. Okay, so acceleration, right? So now what's the next thing? You have your V term, you also have your what do we call it now? You have your acceleration A. Okay, So the next thing is you give a single line comment saying that computing, or rather computation of the runway length, right? So of course the runway length, we're given the formula here as length, so let's compute that. So that's going to be length will be equals to v double asterisk 2 is to raise to the power, okay, then a times what, 2 times a, okay, 2 times a. So of course this is the model to compute runway length. Then of course once you compute, what do you want to do? You want to display, right? So to display the output of the computation, right? So of course here we're going to say use the function called print, right? Print. Okay, so we're now saying we have the format on what we are supposed to print out exactly. So it should say the minimum runway length for this airplane is, so let's do that. The minimum runway length, the minimum runway length, okay, the minimum runway length, the minimum runway length for this airplane, for this airplane is, okay, so we are going to pass in our length here, then meters. I hope you get that. So I think I forgot to put a comma here. So you may wonder, this comma is just to help you to concatenate, meaning to join in your text and your numbers together, right? So once we are done, of course, we want to see the result of our computation. So you right click on any white space like I'm doing here. I always do not want to use this run button here because it can go and compute your previous program. So just right click on the white space here, run. Then of course you need to select your interpreter, okay, then you now say apply and then say run. Now by the time you run, of course here is going to be value 60 and here is going to be 3.5, okay. Now you see, the moment we run, we now have exactly the result, 514.285. It now takes to all the significant figures, okay. So just look at it. This is what the result says we are supposed to get. Now how do we now reduce this to three places, three significant places? How do we do that? Okay, okay, I'm going to, so we shall see how we shall do that very shortly. All right, so welcome back. So you can see now this line of code on line 30 is the same thing to line 29, okay, but what you will notice is if I run this boat now, you will notice that, let me run the boat. So what do you notice? This by 60, 3.5. Now can you see that this one is not placing it in its precise significant figures, while this is giving the exact significant figures to 3 places of decimal, right? So if you want this one to be in 4 places of decimal, 5 places of decimal, what you can just do is you can just come here and of course increase this number, but based on the problem at hand, would leave it in 3 places of significant figures. So what do? I can comment this code out. If you wish, you could delete it, but for the purpose of learning and emphasis, I will advise you to keep the boat, but comment this out. So if I comment this out now, of course I have to save my work, then my program, then I'll run again and then impute 60 and then impute 3.5. now of course you can see that we now have the desired result. Okay, so I wish us a good day ahead.